Hello, welcome to Pursuit of Perfect System. My name's Terry Ellis. I'm an audio reviewer and Dirac Live Calibrator. And in this video, I'm concluding the review for the Blue Aura V40 tube-based hybrid integrated amplifier, which you can see here down to my right. So who are Blue Aura? Blue Aura are a company that's based in the Silicon Valley of UK hi-fi, Cambridgeshire. They have been established from 2010, but the team has well over 30 years of audio industry experience. They design and engineer all of their products in-house in the UK. If you look at their website, they have 3 different product ranges. There'll be a few things that stand out as you scan through the website, and that is that Blue Aura make very nice, very affordable, I'm going to use the word modern, hi-fi products that are there to attract, and I'm going to use the company's words, the new generation of music lovers, and they make products that are easy to accommodate and easy to fit into everyday lives. The V40 amplifier is from the company's Black line, and the Black line is their most expensive and their most audiophile products. Within the Black line you'll find a couple of different amplifiers, some speakers and a phono stage. The V40 is the top of the range amplifier from Blue Aura, with the exception of the V40 limited edition, which is the same amplifier but comes in a very nice walnut finish and comes with a finish matched pair of speakers. I think with a product like the V40 it's apparent that we start with its price tag, and that is £469. The V40 is available to buy direct from Blue Aura on their website. So let that sink in. The price of the V40 is £469, and bear that in mind for the rest of this review, for everything that I tell you that you get and that you might not get for your hard-earned under £500. Its dimensions are 264mm wide by 214mm deep. And for those of you that are better at distinguishing size by eye, this is a Blu-ray case, and as you can see, it's not really that much different in size. The V40 weighs 3.5 kilograms, which is about the same weight as your standard building brick. So it's small, it's light, it's really the polar opposite of pretty much every other hi-fi amplifier on the market. So let's look at the specs. The V40 is a Class AB hybrid amplifier. It has 30 watts per channel, and it doesn't say in the spec whether that's at 4 ohms or 8 ohms, but it will drive both loads. Taking a look at the rear of the amplifier, we have the expected speaker cable terminals, which are screw type, and they feel nice quality. Moving across, we have our connections. You can see single-ended phono analog connections. You'll also see a small 3.5mm jack connection. What might be confused as an SP-diff input is actually a subwoofer output. You can connect this amplifier to a subwoofer, and Blue Aura actually make a very affordable subwoofer, which could be of interest. Down here we have a USB input, which means you can connect the V40 to a computer or a laptop, and pay attention to the connection because that is a micro type B connection. And here we have an aerial, which might look a bit unusual, but that's there because the V40 has built-in aptX Bluetooth. And both the aptX Bluetooth and the USB connection indicates that built into the Blue Aura V40 is its own internal DAC. Now there is no specifications for the DAC, so I can't tell you what file formats it might support. However, I would say if you're interested in finding out that information, contact Blue Aura via their website. I'm sure they'll be able to give you all the information you require. Looking down onto the V40, you can see here there's 2 pots, and inside those pots there are toroidal transformers. Now the toroidal transformers are used to help lower the distortion of the amplifier, and while we're talking distortion, at 30 watts output full power, the amplifier has 0.7% distortion, and at 1 watt it has 0.18% distortion. Moving on to the bit that's bound to be of interest and the bit that's probably brought you to this review in the first place, the V40 has a tube-based preamplification stage. It uses 2 ECC82 or 12 AU7 tubes and 1 6E2 tube. Now these are European valves and they're supplied by a company, JJ Electronics. And these tubes are used because they have a renowned long lifespan and superb tonal quality. the V40 has one more ace up its sleeve, and that's with a digital VU meter, which is placed here in front of our central tube, and it works on a vertical basis. And it works on the basis, the closer to the middle you are, the closer to full power you are. In a way, it's a little bit of a gimmick. In another way, it's really quite cool. And in another way, it's actually really useful, because besides the VU meter, there is no way of telling just how hard you're pushing the V40 amplifier. And I think that leads us quite nicely onto build quality. Product interaction with the Blue Aura V40 is good. The rotary dials for volume and the rotary selector for our inputs feel nice quality, reassuringly well built and built to last. One thing I noticed with the volume control, it can be a case of quite a lot of turns in order to make a significant difference to the output volume. Now that is a point of note rather than a major criticism. The remote control is quite a simple affair, but more than good enough for a product at this price point, when we've seen high-end DAC companies give us very, very similar remote controls for DACs that cost between £4,000 and £10,000. What I will say, similar to the volume control actually on the amplifier, when you're trying to adjust the volume, it can feel like quite a lot of clicks. The remote control can sometimes feel a bit cumbersome for changing volume. And it's just something, again, to point out, and of something of note, not really a major criticism. The reason it's not a major criticism is because you'll probably find yourself turning up the volume to a point where you're happy and then listening to all your music at that set volume. It's not really the sort of amplifier where you'll find yourself chasing the volume up and down based on the content or the type of music you're listening to. The rest of the connections are all perfectly good for a product at this price point. Another point of note is our writing, our indication writing is actually printed onto the chassis here. Now, this particular model of V40 is actually from Blue Aura's show demonstrations stock. So this product has actually had a little bit more life than your average product would that you might buy and have at home. And I have noticed that some of the writings come off a little bit, but again, because this is a demo product and a demo stock, it's bound to have had lots more fingers on it and lots more interaction with it than the average V40 would for the average owner. So for me, that is not really anything to worry about, and again, just a point of note. Visually, I think Blue Aura have done a good job here. I think they've combined a contemporary look with a classic look with quite a modern look. And one thing I want to applaud them for is not using stupid, overly bright LEDs. The LED brightness used here is just about perfect. I wish more manufacturers would take note of this and stop sticking overly bright LEDs in their hi-fi products. There is just no need for it. Again, I think the Blue Aura is a very nice and very unoffensive looking piece of hi-fi equipment. But what does it sound like? Well, normally a lower powered tube amplifier will be completely dependent on the speakers that you partner it with. A 10-watt single-ended triode amplifier can blow your brains out with SPL levels if you partner it with a 100+ decibel sensitivity speaker. Now, when it came time to choose what speakers I was going to use to review the V40 with, I looked on the Blue Aura website and I looked at what speakers they actually sell with the V40. And if you buy a V40 Plus package, it comes with a pair of PS40 speakers. Now, those PS40 speakers use a 1-inch tweeter and a 4.5-inch mid-bass driver. So I chose the Revel M105 speakers to review with the V40 because they also have a 1-inch tweeter and they have a 5.25-inch mid-bass driver, very similar, but on paper they are higher performance speakers. The Revel speakers are an 86 decibel sensitive load, so they are a mediumly difficult load for an amplifier, so they was really going to push and work the V40, and we was really going to test and see what its credentials are all about. The first thing I want to say is the Blue Aura V40 performed much better than I expected it to. It gave a really good account of itself as an amplifier. That's using it purely as an amplifier, feeding it with an analog signal using a Chord Electronics Hugo M scaler and a Chord Electronics QT DAC. The V40 definitely sounds smooth and it definitely sounds warm, with maybe just a little bit of that tube euphonicness thrown in there for good measure. Just a little bit, not too much, maybe just a shot amount. I needed that. Looking at the sound in more detail, the V40 has a good mid-range. It has nice and good vocals, has good bass control and presence, and it has a good treble. For me, the standout aspects of its sonic performance would be its overall soundstage clarity and its musical tonal qualities, with the weaknesses being at the frequency extremes, the very top treble and the control of lower bass. But overall, it's a good sounding amplifier and delivers a very satisfying musical experience. Switching the source over to using the V40's built-in aptX Bluetooth and streaming music from my phone, to my surprise, the sound from the internal DAC was really impressive. It was much better than I was expecting it to be, and actually that sound balanced really nicely with the overall sonic performance of the amplifier. You can tell it's a product that's been designed and listened to, and they've tuned the sound to work really well as an overall package. Using the internal DAC, the sound was fuller and definitely warmer. Don't get me wrong, by comparison to our usual front end, the chord front end, the sound was really quite coloured and nowhere near as musically insightful. But I can see some audiophiles preferring the sound actually using the built-in DAC because it's fuller, because it's warmer, and for some audiophiles that would be their preference. I think what's important about that is the V40 demonstrated itself to be a very good overall package and fully usable as a musical hub. My final thoughts: the Blue Aura V40 is the most affordable hi-fi amplifier or integrated amplifier that I've had in here for review by quite some margin actually. And again, I want to stress the price point, £469. To some non-audiophiles, that might still seem like a lot of money, but for seasoned audiophiles, we know that really isn't a lot at all for a well-built, good quality hi-fi component. It's a good sounding product that's very easy to live with, very easy to listen to, that doesn't get hot, that's small, that you can place pretty much anywhere, and it doesn't really need any special care or attention to use or maintain. It sounds smooth right up until about the point where you hit its maximum volume, and again it does all that in a really small and lightweight package, very lightweight in fact. So I want to thank Blue Aura for sending me this V40 for review, and I want to thank them for their patience, for the amount of time it's taken me to get to this point. I hope you found this review and the full review series actually helpful, and hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have enjoyed it, make sure you hit that thumbs up, that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow that up by clicking on that notification bell so that you get a nudge for every new video that we create. I just want to finish up by saying thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you soon. Make sure you take care.